Welcome to the Spiritist Companion podcast. My name is Yuri Castro, and I'll be your companion on this journey where we study, reflect, and put Spiritist teachings into practice. If you enjoy what you hear, don't forget to subscribe, to follow our pages, and to send this podcast to someone else as well. Today's topic is one that is timely and I think necessary and a call for discernment. In a world filled with so many voices, so many ideas, so many promises, how do we know whom to trust? Can we distinguish what is true from what is false? And also, how can we avoid becoming trees that bear bad fruits ourselves? Well, let's reflect together, my dear friends. First, we go to the Gospel of Matthew, where Jesus, our dear Master Jesus, gives us a clear and practical teaching. And I'm going to read the passage here. Beware of false prophets who come to you covered in the skins of sheep, but who on the inside are ravenous wolves. You will know them by their fruit. Can grapes be picked from thorn bushes or figs from briars? Thus, every tree that is good produces good fruit, and every tree that is bad produces bad fruit. A good tree cannot produce bad fruit, nor can a bad tree produce good fruit. Every tree that does not produce good fruit will be cut down and cast into the fire. Hence, you will know them by their fruits. My dear friends, this is the title of today's episode. By their fruits you shall know them. So we'll be talking about the false prophets. We'll talk about how to discern and what to do with that information as well. In the book The Gospel According to Spiritism, precisely on chapter 21, Allan Kardec, who is the codifier of Spiritism, is going to start that specific chapter with this passage from Matthew and also with a passage from Luke, very similar, where it says, the tree that produces bad fruit is not good, and the tree that produces good fruit is not bad. For each tree is known by its own fruit. Therefore, we can already see that the Christ is talking about good fruits from good trees and bad fruits from bad trees, which is something that sounds rather simple, perhaps. It's an analogy that I think it's easy to understand, but it means a lot. And this practical guideline is something for us to beware, because the Christ does not say, you will recognize them by their words, or you will recognize them by their appearance or by their eloquence. No, he says by their fruits. Importantly, we're not talking only about these false prophets, quote-unquote prophets, in religious movements out there. And even throughout that chapter, Allan Kardec is going to identify or help us identify false prophets among the living and also among the discarnate spirits, which are these deceptive spirits, because the fact that somebody died or their material body perishes, it does not mean that they're going to get to the other side of life and become saints, become angels. No. The fact that we have communication with the beyond does not necessarily mean that that communication will always be good, that communication coming from the discarnate spirits will always equate a good fruit. And this is one of the greatest challenges that I think we have, is identifying what is false when something does not look false. And this is something that we must keep in mind so we can broaden our horizons even further in terms of the necessity of vigilance. Oftentimes, what is false, the bad fruit we can call it, will present itself with beautiful speech, with an appearance of goodness, with apparent knowledge and abundant charisma. But when we look closer, those fruits coming from that tree, they are not going to be the same. And that is what truly matters. The Master Jesus, using the simple and powerful metaphor when he says a good tree bears good fruit and a bad tree bears bad fruit. There is no confusion when we observe carefully. But of course, this requires time and discernment. We are still evolving spirits. We're far from reaching the level of depuration of a spirit like Jesus, for instance. So the discernment between what is false and what is true, what is a bad tree and a good tree, is not necessarily automatic. It's something that is developed. The paths for this development, well, study, reflection, observing things calmly, not reacting impulsively, and aligning reason with feeling. Because sometimes reason will tell us one thing, but if we look for the words of the Spirit guides, we will hear our intuition, and the feeling will tell us something different. We don't have to necessarily look only to religious figures of the past to think about these false prophets. Today, they may very well appear as influencers who spread negativity or misinformation, of leaders who use God's name for personal gain, and individuals who preach goodness but live the opposite. Remember the fruits that we talked about. And from a Spiritist perspective, therefore, how do we interpret these fruits? Because that's what Jesus was talking about. The bad tree with bad fruits, good tree with good fruits, meaning what they produce. Well, from a Spiritist perspective, we can think of these fruits as actions, as our behaviors, as the effects we produce in others, and the moral consequences of all of those. In other words, it's not what someone says necessarily, it's what someone does and the impact it creates. We can bring this reflection to everyday situations. So for instance, when we evaluate who we follow, so before quote-unquote following someone, be it spiritually, professionally, personally even, ask, does this person promote good? Do they generate peace, or are they generating conflict? Do they inspire growth or division? Observe the fruits. Number 2, and I think this one is very, very current in social media. After all, we are constantly exposed to opinions, but not everything that seems quote-unquote true really is. Therefore, my dear friends, we must practice critical thinking. We must reflect before we share something, and we have the responsibility of watching what we actually consume. Not every voice deserves to be heard or followed. Number 3, in spiritual environments as well. Not every spiritual message comes from a good source, like I said. And Allan Kardec warns us about deceptive spirits. And for that, I'm going to refer you to the Book of Mediums. Important criteria, for instance, are humility, coherence of the message, absence of pride, and encouragement of good. If there is vanity, or if there are traces of superiority, or if there's an imposition or something that is completely extraordinary, or forcing somebody to do rituals, well, be cautious, because those are not good fruits. We must also look at ourselves. We must ask, what kind of fruits am I producing? Because even if I'm trying to do good, sometimes I'm going to produce fruits that come from selfishness and from pride. So I must ask myself as well, what do my actions generate? Do they generate peace? Do they generate understanding? Are they fostering growth? Or are they generating conflict, judgment, imbalance? And last but not least, also in the workplace, I was thinking about because somebody may speak beautifully about ethics, about all these things, but act dishonestly. That's why we need critical thinking. We need sincerity and honesty in our actions. Coherence reveals the truth, so always observe what they are actually doing, not what they are actually saying. This self-reflection is very important because sometimes we may know what is right, we may speak about goodness, but be carried away by selfishness and pride and not live it. This inconsistency is a subtle form, in a way, of falsehood, so we must raise the mirror, as I say, look to ourselves, and change for better. And another important point here that I don't want to forget to mention is that observing fruits does not mean judging harshly. We are all progressing as spirits. The goal is not to condemn, but to understand and to make better choices. And when we can, help others also make better choices. But who are the good, quote-unquote, prophets? Who are those that are actually producing good fruit? Well, those are these souls that live what they teach. They're humble, they don't seek personal advantage, and they always promote good. These are people that do not impose themselves, they serve. We have many names that we can conjure up in our minds that would meet this criteria, and I'm not going to be here listening all of them. I think each one of you, my dear friends, is capable of thinking of people, even in the Spiritist movement, that certainly meet this criteria. So let's go over some practical applications of this teaching. Number 1, my dear friends, observe more than you listen. Truth is in actions. So observe the actions, observe the fruits. Number 2, be consistent. Yes, align your words with your actions. Number 3, develop critical thinking, because as we talked about, not everything that seems good is good indeed. Number 4, let's work on our inner transformation. As I always say, let's produce good fruits ourselves. Number 5, let's choose good influences. Let us follow, let us walk those who inspire good. My dear friends, in a world full of voices, discernment is a form of protection. We are trees as well, and every day we're producing fruits. So what kind of fruits are we offering to the world? Because in the end, we will not be recognized by the good spirits by what we say necessarily, but by what we do and the intention behind that. We reached the end of another episode, this time episode 47 of the Spiritist Companion podcast. What a great pleasure and honor to be with you again, and if this reflection resonated with you, please share it with someone who is also seeking to live with more awareness and truth. We'll meet again in the next episode next Monday. Until then, remain in peace, cultivate good fruits, and keep moving forward one step at a time under the light of the gospel. With fraternal love, your Spiritist Companion.